What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Scary Sundays. And this week, I want to talk about something I've been experiencing over the last few days, which is this huge and incredibly powerful wave of sadness. And when I say sadness, I don't necessarily mean, um, sadness about anything in particular, although certainly the feeling can be attributable to situations in our life. But what I mean at a more fundamental level is just this deep existential sadness, this deep uh, sadness about the fundamental nature of things, the fundamental impermanence of everything. And what's ironic is that this sadness is really the same, uh, is really one side of a coin, and the other side of that coin is pure beauty and awe and gratitude for the chance to experience things. And so it's a really interesting paradox that we can simultaneously feel so much sadness about the fact that things don't last, and at the same time appreciate the beauty of things so much for that very reason, because they're not permanent, because we only have this moment guaranteed to appreciate them. And I've really been reflecting on it because, as somebody who meditates a lot and does a lot of work on myself and is, always trying to gain more emotional mastery and trying to just understand things at deeper and deeper levels, this most recent wave of sadness has been quite intense. And it kind of got me thinking because, a couple situations in my life happened over the last couple weeks that I can definitely attribute feeling this sadness to. And I can notice my mind wanting to quickly find reasons for why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling, as a way to actually, as a subtle way to not fully go into the feeling. Because if I can find a mental rationalization for why I'm feeling so sad, or replace that with any difficult emotion, then in a way it helps me, it protects me from needing to go in and fully feel that emotion, because I can kind of write it off, right? And be like, oh, no, I'm just feeling sad because this happened and it'll pass, and whatever. And I mean, it will pass, that's true. But I think oftentimes we can have this habit of, the moment we feel something unpleasant, the moment we feel something uncomfortable, we immediately want to find a scapegoat externally for that thing. We immediately want to find a reason that we can attribute it to, so that we don't need to go fully into the feeling. Because the idea that we're just feeling sad for no reason at all can be very hard to grapple with. And in this video, I want to just offer a subtle, or maybe not so subtle, perspective shift and mindset shift, which is that, oftentimes in life, when we feel like we are going through a rough patch, or we're feeling sad or fearful or anxious or whatever it might be, we oftentimes think about it, if we think about our emotional life like a body of water, let's say it's like a lake, we oftentimes can think about our sadness as a wake, right? It's like there's a wake that's creating turbulence on the surface of the water. And then our job becomes to try to figure out what is causing the wake. What boat has decided to disrupt the stillness of our emotional life? What boat has decided to disrupt the equanimity of our that surface of our water? And this is a useful skill, because oftentimes there is a reason, and by figuring out what that reason is, it can help us to make better decisions and live a happier life. But what I want to offer is that many times the negative emotion that we're feeling is not necessarily a wake being caused by some external thing that's causing the water to become turbulent on the surface of the lake. Many times it's just the current of the water. And the deeper that we feel the sadness, the deeper down below the surface of the lake that we feel the sadness, the more likely it is that it's not being caused by something on the surface level, and that it's just the motion of the ocean, baby. It's just the natural currents of the water, because that's what water does. It flows. And the more sensitive that we become in life, as we meditate, or whatever practice that you guys may have out there, or just honestly just growing as a human being and opening your heart, the more sensitive that you become and the less you try to rationalize or repress your emotions, um, the more you're going to start to be attuned to the deeper currents of the water. And I want to make this video for anyone out there who can relate, who can feel like they're just so sensitive sometimes and they don't know what the fuck is going on. Sometimes, like, you just feel so hopelessly sad or anxious or afraid. And I want to let you guys know that, I've been there, and I can relate, and I truly, truly feel, and I really want anybody who's watching this, who's resonating with this, to understand or entertain this idea that it's not always that that deep feeling needs to have a reason that you need to justify to people. And in fact, the deeper it feels, um, the more likely it is that it is really just a deeper current of your life, and something that um, you only need to attend to and be present with. And that's not to say that it's easy. But a practical way to do that is to watch your mind when it tries to create a story, when it tries to tell you what the justification is for why you should be feeling this way, and drop the story and enter into the body, enter into the actual felt sense experience of what this difficult emotion feels like. And when you do that, as you raise your sensitivity, you also raise your equanimity. And the more that you can just stay with the emotion, the more you start to experience it as just a moving current of energy that is reminding you that you're alive, reminding that you're a human, and in that way can become a beautiful reminder of all the things that you have to be grateful for. So in this way, we can really transform a feeling of sadness that, when we're attaching a mental story to it or trying to find a reason for it, can become this very uh, it can become a problem. It's like, oh, this is a problem. And like I said at the beginning, sometimes it is a problem. But I think the way to tell the difference, sometimes there is something in your life that needs to be changed. If you're feeling fear or anxiety or sadness, um, and typically that's when it's more surface level. But if you're really feeling something at a deeper level and having trouble identifying what it is there for, or not believing any of the stories that your mind is putting up as a justification for it, that might be an invitation to allow yourself to drop the stories, enter somatically into the place in the body that you feel the sensations of the emotion, and just be fully present with them with no judgment and compassion, treating them like you would a child who's crying. And with that way of directing loving awareness towards your own emotional experience without creating conceptual story out of it, we start to experience it as energy, and we can start to alchemize that feeling, and we start to process it differently. We start to just see it as a reminder of our sensitivity, a reminder of our capacity for emotion and our capacity for love and care ultimately. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't be feeling anything at all. And that can provide a lot of energy to then step back into your life with a profound level of compassion for yourself and others. So I hope this video was helpful. The thesis of the video is that if you find yourself feeling like your sadness or your fear or any other negative emotion is the wake of some external boat, but then you fail to find the boat when you look for it, I would invite you to dive a little bit deeper into the lake, into the water, and see if you can find the currents, the ever changing currents of your sadness, revealing to you that you are just an emotional human being. And we came to this plane to feel every single emotion. And that is a cause for celebration, even if it's hard to feel sometimes. So I love you guys. Let me know if this resonated in the comments. And for those of you who'd like to dive deeper into any of this, some of you know this already, some of you have already signed up, but I'm offering free 30-minute introductory coaching calls. And the purpose is to help you feel safer to be yourself, help you feel safer to be with all parts of yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. And if it resonates, then we can explore an ongoing relationship. And I really don't like calling it a coaching relationship because I truly don't believe that I have any answers to give you. I see it more as a guiding relationship. My intention is to hold space for you to reach the answers on your own. So if that sounds interesting, shoot me a DM. And I love you guys. Peace.